Welcome to the Synergy FX Metatrader tutorial videos. In this video we are going to cover the top toolbars in the Metatrader platform. We're going to start in the upper left hand corner with the File button. File, you can open a new chart. You can open a deleted chart. So this is if you accidentally close a chart. You can click on these. These are your most recently closed or deleted charts. You have profiles. Profiles are actually groupings of charts that you can set up. So for example, if I click on Synergy, that's going to open my Synergy profile. In my Synergy profile, you'll see I have the Swiss yen and the pound dollar. If I go back to my profile and go back to default, this is what will load up every time that you open your Metatrader platform. So if you follow certain groupings of currency pairs like euro pairs or yen pairs, you can create these groups and then follow those sets of charts and flip through them pretty easily without having to open and close a lot of charts. If you go to Save As, you're going to get the option to save the chart as a CSV file, which is pretty much like a spreadsheet of all the pricing that's on the chart. If you go to Save As Picture, that's going to give you the option to save the chart. You have Active Workspace, which is the entire window. You have Active Chart, which is just the black rectangle. And then you also have Active Chart where you can set the resolution. If you go to Open an Account, this will allow you to open a new demo account in the event your demo account expires. If you go to Login, this will allow you to log in. You can actually switch from live to demo or demo to demo or live to live depending on what you need to do. So if you need to switch from demo to live, just make sure you change the server right here. You can also print any of the charts that you have open or any of the data that you're looking at. So if you need to save something for your records, you can hit the print button. And then you can go ahead and print the chart and any of your trade settings and data. If we look at the View menu, you have the option to change your languages. Toolbars, so if you click View and then hit one of the toolbars, you'll see it disappear. So in the event you have one of your toolbars missing, simply go to View and then Toolbars, and you should be able to find it there. Your status bar is actually something that shows up in the bottom, and that actually is your connection status. If you look down here, now that it's reappeared, this is your status bar. Your charts bar is the listing of your charts. So you'll see here we have our listing right down here of our charts. And then we have our main windows, Market Watch, which is this window right here. So if we click it off, you'll see that it disappears. So if any of your windows disappear, you just go to View, and then you can find them in this grouping. This is your Market Watch window right here. This is your Navigator window. This is your Terminal window. You also see something that says Data window. If you go to Data window, it's going to bring up a brand new box, and with your data window it's actually going to tell you all the pertinent data of where your mouse is. So for example, we have date, time, open, high, low, close, and volume, which actually represents the amount of price ticks in that given time period. If you had indicators on this chart, you'd also be able to see the value of the indicators pop up. So we'll just add a quick indicator here. And if I highlight over it, you can see your indicator value shows up in your data window as well. You also have Strategy Tester. Strategy Tester is used for expert advisors. So if you wanted to load an expert advisor and back test it, you go to View and then Strategy Tester, and you can load that in and test out your expert advisors. Full screen's pretty self-explanatory. Just goes to a full screen chart. Insert is used to put things on your charts. Indicators, any of your indicators you can find in this menu. Lines, you have vertical, horizontal, trend line. Channels, you have your Fibonacci channels, linear regression, equidistant, and standard deviation. Your Gann indicators, your Fibonacci lines, any shapes or arrows that you need to put in are all here. And then you have some specialty lines and shapes that you can add. Andrew's pitchfork, cycle lines, a text box, or a text label. Your charts. This is everything that's related to your charts, which you also see doubled up in the top toolbars. So any objects that are on the chart, being horizontal lines or text boxes or whatever, you can see your list here by going to charts and then objects. You can change the type of chart, bar chart, candlestick, or line chart. And then your foreground chart option pretty much means that the chart is going to be on the foreground of any of the other objects that you have on there, so the data, the price data will appear over top of any indicators or lines. Periodicity allows you to change the period of the chart from 1 minute all the way through monthly. Template is a feature where you can save groups of indicators. So if you have 2 or 3 indicators that you use on all your charts, you can save it as a template and then add that template to the chart, and then it'll add all the indicators at once. Refresh is to refresh the chart itself. Grid is to to remove or add the grid lines. Volumes will show you these volume numbers as we discussed before. It shows the amount of times the price ticked in any given period. Auto scroll is a feature that you can have on if you're scrolling through data and if you want to be alerted if the price moves. What you need to know is if you scroll through historical data and you have auto scroll on and the price moves, it's going to move you back to the most recent price movement. So it can get a little annoying. So if you are going to be doing historical data search, you may want to take auto scroll off. Chart shift will move the chart and shift it so that you can see some of this open space over here. You can zoom in and zoom out. Step by step is actually a way to scroll through the charts one candle at a time. So if you're looking to see things and move the chart slowly in a progression by the time frame on the chart, so if you want to move 1 hour at a time, you could hit the F12 button. Properties is the property window that's brought up on the chart. You can see your colors. You can change your color scheme. And then you also have common, which allows you to change some of these options. You have your foreground, chart shift, auto scroll, bar, candle, line, show open, high, low, close, show ask line. Right now Metatrader defaults to a bid line, but if you hit show ask, you'll see a red line that pops up to represent the ask line. Period separators, which means it'll give you a darker white line for every 24 hours. You show grid, show volumes, and then show object descriptions, which will give you a description of any objects that you have on the chart. See, now when we hit OK, you see this red line that represents the ask, and the white represents the bid. Your tools, you have your new order, history center, which pretty much is going to give you a way to download historical price data so that you can choose a date and time or prices, and then have the ability to show any price data in between the parameters that you've entered. Also in tools, you have global variables, meta language editor, and your options. Your global variables and meta language editor are more for custom programming. And then if you go to tools and go to options, so you can change a lot of the parameters in MetaTrader. So for example, if you needed to change your password, you go to tools, options, click change, and then you can enter in a new password. You also have keep personal settings in data at startup. So if you want, anytime you log into MetaTrader for everything to be the same, you want to make sure this box is checked off. Charts, some of the same things that we saw in the common tab. You can change some of these things here in your charts tab for the tools, and then options, objects, and then some of the trading stuff. Symbol by default is you can have it as automatic. Last used, which will be the last currency pair that you traded, will show up automatically in the trade symbol in your order window. Or if you want to default to a certain currency pair that you trade all the time, let's say for example the euro dollar, you can click default and then select the euro dollar, and then anytime you go to place a trade, the euro dollar will come up first. Your trade size, you can either have last used, which is the last order you placed, or default trade size that you can enter. So if you only trade, let's say, one mini lot at a time, you can put the default in as one mini lot. Your deviation default is the maximum allowable deviation that you want to use for your trading. So if the trade is trying to execute at a certain price and it deviates from that price, if you want it to be able to get in at a certain amount of pips away, you can state that in this option here. Expert advisors is, in order to enable expert advisors, you can click on this checkbox. Allow live trading and allow DLL imports is also here for the setup of your expert advisors. The email tab is for your alerts. So if you want to have an alert send you an email, you can set up your email options in here, and then anytime that you have the email option selected in alerts to send you an email, it will follow the settings that are present here. Events is any of the sounds that happen in MetaTrader. So you can, if you want to change the sounds of what happens when you connect or disconnect to the platform, or any of your expert advisor sounds, all that stuff can be done in this box here. The other thing that you have here in MetaTrader in the top toolbar is the ability to organize your windows. So if we hit tile horizontally, it'll automatically tile our charts, and if we hit tile vertically, pretty much tile them the same way. It'll change it up depending on how many charts that you have on the screen. The help button is very helpful for if you need to look something up. Maybe there's an indicator you don't understand what it does, or you can't figure out how to do something. You can look it up. You have a table of contents here, and then a search feature. So let's say I don't know what a moving average is, and I can type it in here, and then I can look up what a moving average is in the help screen. You'll also see a visual representation of everything that you see in the top toolbar here, so you can match up what does what. So for example, here's your navigator button, and then view and navigator. So everything that has a visual button also has a matching menu item up top. This will conclude the toolbar explanation in the Synergy FX Metatrader platform tutorial. Thank you for watching. If you need further information, please go to Synergy's website. It's www.synergyfx.com.au.